Hello and welcome to day 5 of 30 days of doodles. Today's doodles are from around the kitchen, so I'm pretty excited to get going, and we're going to start off with a coffee cup, which is one of my favorite things to doodle. So we're going to start with a vertical rectangle, and then we are going to refine that shape so that it's not just this boxy cup. So the first thing you want to do is just go from the upper left-hand corner and pull a diagonal line down and to the right, and then go from the upper right-hand corner and pull it down and to the left. And then we're going to take these arch shapes along the bottom and then the same arch shape along the top, and then create one on the back side to give the cup some depth. We want to show that it's not just a flat object and that there's something in the cup. And then for the handle, I'm just using an oval, and I did 2 loops so that it looks more like a handle. And then we'll go over our lines, not going over those rectangle lines from the beginning. Again, those are just our grid lines, and I know I've said this a lot, and I'm going to repeat it a lot throughout this series, and a lot of that just comes down to what I ultimately want you to get out of this is seeing these shapes and being able to recreate them and see them in your own doodles so that you can do this on your own outside of this series. So now we'll go ahead and erase those grid lines that we made, and then we're going to add some finer details just to give this a little bit more depth and a little bit more character. So I'm just picking up my pen here, and I'm going to add another line right along the back side of the cup, and then I'm adding these little hash marks. So that makes it look like there's coffee in the cup, and you can still see the back rim of the cup. And then you can decorate your cup with whatever design you want. I just went with a little heart. Our next doodle is a frying pan, so this time we're going to be doing another rectangle, except it's going to be a horizontal rectangle, and we'll be doing the same thing that we did with the cup. So go from the upper left-hand corner down and to the right, and then from the upper right-hand corner down and to the left, and then we'll make those same arch lines to just give it that little bit of depth so that it's not just completely flat. And then the next step is going to be to add the handle. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating this very tiny little oval as the connection piece, and then a rectangle coming out to the side for the handle. So we'll go over all those lines with our pen the same way we did with the coffee cup, avoiding the grid lines and sticking with our refined lines. And then we will add some details just like we did with the coffee cup. So hopefully you guys are kind of seeing a pattern here. I am trying to keep things so that we're doing similar items and similar doodles that we can learn from and that we can apply to multiple different doodles that we're going to do throughout our journaling or our art journey as we go. So now picking up my pen again, I'm just going to add those fine details. So again, I'm adding that thin lip around the back. You could also make it a little farther down to make it look like the pan was empty, but I made mine higher up so it looks like the pan is full. And then I'm picking up my smaller point pen to add a little hole in the handle, and then add some little steam swirls at the top of our frying pan to make it look like it's sizzling on top of the stove. Our last doodle is a stand mixer, like a KitchenAid, and it's a little tougher and it's different than what we've done, but I love to do this one. It's great for baking spreads and stuff like that. So we're going to start with a rectangle that is slightly taller than it is wide, and then we're going to draw our stand mixer inside that. So at the top of our rectangle, we're going to draw an oval that is about 1/3 of the height of our rectangle, and then at the bottom, we're just going to create this arch shape, almost like half of an oval, but leaving the bottom piece flat as it would sit on a counter. And then we're going to draw 2 lines, somewhat like a rectangle, along the left-hand side. And then we're going to take and curve those lines inwards so that they're more organic and they actually look more like a stand mixer and aren't just flat. So now we'll go around all of our lines that we just created to create the base of our stand mixer. Next, we'll go in and erase all of our grid lines just so that we have that clean template to start drawing all of the extras in on. So we're going to grab our pencil again and we are going to draw the bowl. So I'm just doing like a U shape, and then I am making the top straight across, and then connected to the top piece is this little rectangle, and then we'll draw somewhat like a whisk coming out. So it's just another upside down U shape with two little lines coming out. And then I'm adding a thin band around the top because that's kind of significant of a KitchenAid mixer. So I'm trying to make it look like that, and then add buttons and the little switches wherever you want them to be. So I added a circle and a little rectangle, and I also added a small rectangle coming off the front for any attachments that would go on the stand mixer. Remember that these are just doodles. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to match up exactly with real life, but if you're trying to make it look more realistic, then the more little details you have, the better. So guys, that wraps up day 5. I'm looking forward to day 6. I hope you'll join me. Remember to share your doodles with me on Instagram, hashtag 30 Days of Doodles with TPP, and tag me at The Petite Planner. Thanks for watching, guys.